Thank you, Elder Edwards. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Thank you for being in the house of the Lord today. So my name is Chad, and I am representing the Health Ministries. And I'd like to thank the Personal Ministries Department for allowing the Health Ministries team to use this time to, to participate in Personal Ministries, because the Health Ministries team, we believe in in extending love and all that is good to persons within the church and outside of the church, and to really extend the good news of the Lord. So in this time, these 10 minutes, I'd like to discuss the heart healthy holiday, because we have Thanksgiving and we have Christmas coming uh, the next few weeks, and then we have the New Year. So I mean, many of us don't necessarily celebrate these holidays, but many of us do. And I just really would like to spend some time discussing how to stay healthy during this holiday period. So, all right. So next, oh, uh, I misplaced the slide changer. Okay, be somewhere here. So, really, three sections of this presentation. There is the appetizer, the main course, and the dessert. Next slide, please. Okay, the appetizer. So really, studies have shown that there are people who get more sick during the holidays because of salt consumption. So this is what this slide is showing. Next slide, please. So Christmas and Independence Day, there was a study that showed that these two holidays were associated with increased risk of admissions for heart failure, and it has to do with salt intake. So we're really going to be talking about salt today. Uh, Cool. All right. So I might skip these slides. I won't go into much detail, but really, there are many of us who may have a diagnosis of heart failure and not know. But if you see symptoms of leg swelling, I skip these videos. Yeah, if you see symptoms of leg swelling, for example, shortness of breath with exertion, if it's a case where you're not able to lay down on your pillow on your bed without pillows behind your head, you may have some degree of heart failure. I recommend visiting a physician to get that checked out. But even if you do not have heart failure, if you have an increased consumption of salt, that may increase your blood pressure, and that may cause issues like a heart attack, stroke, and things of that nature. So be careful of your salt intake. Also, avoid, for those of us who are in a position to have these things being accessible, also avoid drug, tobacco, and excess alcohol use. All right, so as I mentioned before, leg swelling, shortness of breath, more fatigue recently, difficulty sleeping, a swollen tummy, a consistent cough, passing a lot of urine at nighttime, those could be signs of heart failure. All right, so that's the appetizer, that's the warm up. This is the main course. All right, so now I'm going to talk about salt. So the higher the salt intake, the higher the blood pressure. And the more salt that you consume, the more the body holds on to excess fluid, right? And the higher the blood pressure and the more fluid that's in the body, that's more work on the heart. So that may precipitate things like a heart attack or even more shortness of breath. Okay, so the problem is 9 out of 10 Americans consume too much sodium. So sodium is the main component of salt. But most of the sodium that we consume is not from added table salt, right? So this is a slide that shows that a quarter teaspoon of salt contains 575 milligrams of sodium. We should be aiming to get no more than 2,000 grams of sodium in a day. 2,000 milligrams, right? So if a quarter teaspoon contains 575 milligrams, when you get to 1 teaspoon, you're basically exceeding your recommended daily intake of salt. So you have to be very careful with salt, adding salt to your foods. All right. So I want you, if you don't remember anything else from this presentation, remember the salty six, right? The salty six. Breads and rolls, they have salt. Cold cuts, oh, I'm sorry. There was a question? Oh, thank you, Brother Eastwood. I will get to that. There's a slide on that. So, cold cuts and cured meat, pizza, 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 right? Poultry, poultry, chicken, soup, canned soup, canned soup. Sister Valerie, not your soup, but canned soup, right? and, and sandwiches. Be careful, these foods, even though there's no added salt, they are high in salt, right? Next slide. Okay, and it adds up throughout the course of the day. Right. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. So, as I mentioned before, too much salt can lead to high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, and worsening heart failure. There's this talk about the Himalayan salt, the pink salt, and the kosher salt, rock salt, sea salt, but they're all the same salt, right? So, there's no good salt. Yes, wow. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, so this to summarize, the heart plus high salt leads to symptoms of heart failure and other complications. All right. And then dessert. This is wrapping up now. All right. Ta-da. Okay, these slides are from the American Heart Association. So I'm just going to give some general advice and maybe some tips on how to stay safe. Okay, so now for the flu vaccine and the pneumonia vaccine, they have been shown to decrease the risk of becoming very sick after getting a flu or pneumonia. So it's something to consider. You could speak to your physician about that. So they won't necessarily prevent you from getting the flu or from getting a pneumonia, but it will just decrease the risk of becoming very sick. Okay, so it's important to read your food labels. And many foods now have a nutritional facts label on the back of the label. And also, be careful of over-the-counter medications like medications for heartburn and headache because they have sodium in them. Sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate. Yes, so anything with sodium will have salt. Look for sodium-free, salt-free, no sodium, and very low sodium. We're going to define those quickly. And even reduced salt or reduced sodium, all it means is that it has less than 25% sodium in the original, than your original version. Okay, so remember, salty six plus fast food, snacks, frozen dinners, and pre-seasoned mixes. All right. So Mrs. Dash, though, that's recommended by the American Heart Association. All right. So look for these salts on the packaging. It may not be sodium chloride, but there are many juices also that have sodium. So just look out for these different salts on your packaging. All right. Okay, this is just an example of how to read a food label. Okay, so when it comes to healthy cooking, right? So these are the tips. Stir fry, microwave. If you're roasting, grilling, or broiling, bake, poach, saute, or steam. But no frying because frying will increase the bad cholesterol consumption. Use spices and low salt seasoning. The best thing is fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, all right? And rinse canned vegetables and tuna and sardine with water before eating. Get off the brine. Okay, so take the salt off the table completely. Take the salt off the table completely. Ask for dressings and sauces to be served on the side instead of being mixed with food. Fresh food over frozen. Ensure salt-free or MSG. Avoid vending machines. Avoid chips and dips and other things high in salt. Bring your own fruit, yogurt, or healthy food choices when you go to, a Thanksgiving dinner, right? Bring your own food. Avoid alcohol. Yeah, bring your own food. That's right. That's right. That's right. So let me see what else. Right. Yeah. So that's right. So that's my recommendation. We're coming to the last few slides. So remember the salty six, and let me just go over them for you. Breads and rolls, cold cuts and cured meat, pizza, 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 poultry, soup, and sandwiches. And then if you have symptoms of shortness of breath or leg swelling, please call your primary care physician, or you could go to an urgent care for assistance. Thank you and have a blessed day. Amen. Yeah. Oh, okay, right. So there are different categories of salt-free foods, right? So there are some foods that have they say no added salt on the packaging, but there's actually salt in there, right? Low sodium may mean uh, salt is in there, but it's just that it's less than 25% of salt. And then there are different percentages depending on the type of sodium. So it may say sodium free, but what it means is that it has less than 15% of sodium in the food. So you have to, so the food industry has found ways to make food not look as dangerous by saying that it has low sodium, but there's still sodium in there. So the main recommendation is to count the number of milligrams of sodium on the packaging and ensure that it doesn't add up to more than 2,000 milligrams in a day. That's the recommendation. Uh, right, I'm here every third Sabbath and even offline. And I'm sorry, Elder Riddle. I'm a brother Riddle. Or Eric. Sorry, you had a question? Right, right. It was Elder Tomlinson. I'm sorry. Respect. I'm sorry. With it in moderation, right? In moderation. Yeah, right. So I want to thank everyone for your time. Right. Exactly. It's good for the earth, right? So thank you for your time, everyone, and have a great day.